Good afternoon, everyone. I thought I would do a very, very quick video on St. Patrick's Day, an extra St. Patrick's Day video talking about why Pierre Poilievre should appoint his own special rapporteur. And the reason that he should appoint his own special rapporteur, fundamentally, the core reason, is because it takes power away from Justin Trudeau. I have a list of 10 reasons why Pierre Poilievre should appoint his own special rapporteur. So let's go through them and I'll tell you my reasoning behind each of them. So number one, Justin Trudeau, if Pierre Poilievre appoints his own special rapporteur, Justin Trudeau will be forced to criticize this move. He will say, you can't do that. That's not what a special rapporteur does. That's not who assigns or picks the special rapporteur. You don't get to pick one. I get to pick one. I'm the man who gets to pick the special rapporteur. To which Mr. Poilievre would be able to say, really, Justin? How does that work? Who wrote that down? When did they write it down? Could I read it? Could you share it with the rest of the country? How is a special rapporteur governed in Canada? And when did that position become a position we use? This could all be done through actions from the CPC that the Liberals have to respond to, rather than the CPC making statements to tell the Liberals to stop, which is what the CPC generally does. Here's an example of that. Justin Trudeau, this is Pierre Poilievre in a tweet. He says, Justin Trudeau has named a family friend, an old neighbor from the cottage and member of the Beijing-funded Trudeau Foundation, to be the independent rapporteur on Beijing's interference. Get real. Trudeau must end this cover-up. Call a public inquiry. Now, a public inquiry is not nearly enough, but this is just Pierre Poilievre calling after Justin Trudeau, asking him to do something. Trudeau is not going to do the thing that Mr. Poilievre is asking him to do, and he's not going to respond to this request. The only way Trudeau will engage with Poilievre about the special rapporteur is if Poilievre has leverage. The only way Poilievre has leverage is if he appoints his own special rapporteur, right? So I think that this is a way to get Trudeau to respond through action in a way that he cannot get Trudeau to respond through words. And I've written here, if the Liberals want to cast doubt on the CPC rapporteur, the CPC can ask, what are the government rules for the special rapporteur? Where were they written? Who wrote them? Does it have to be your childhood neighbor? Can anyone appoint one? I heard Jagmeet Singh is appointing one too, and you've got one and I've got one. Maybe Blanchette's going to have one. Maybe the Speaker of the House is going to have one. I'm going to let Andrew Scheer appoint one. Andrew Scheer is going to appoint Poilievre, and I'm going to appoint, well, we'll get to the next point in just a minute. If the rules exist for Trudeau and he won't abide by them, why should anybody else? If Trudeau says, you can't do that, Mr. Poilievre, you're not the person who's supposed to appoint the rapporteur, who cares? Why does anybody care about that? Trudeau cares now about the rules? What about all the money you got from China, Mr. Trudeau? Did Xi appoint this rapporteur? Did he know that he was your childhood friend and mentor or something to that effect, like an uncle? Did he know? No? Weird, right? So if the rules don't exist for Trudeau, why is Poilievre trying to abide by a fictional set of rules that the other side isn't trying to abide by? It doesn't make any sense to me. So with that permission, don't abide by the rules, throw the rule book out, have all of your cabinet appoint a special rapporteur, right? Have 4 or 5 of them investigate honestly. Number 3, having your own special rapporteur will give your party things to report when Trudeau has announcements from his rapporteur. So if Trudeau weaponizes the rapporteur, like we saw the weaponization of the government interaction with the emergency inquiry and the Rouleau Commission and the redacted documents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you can have your special rapporteur announce to the public what he's found weekly. Every week you can have a special rapporteur update for the public to let them know what you've uncovered and to say, it breaks the logjam with Telford and the filibustering of having her on the committee. It makes the Liberals go on defense because they can't stop the special rapporteur that Poilievre is mucking everything up with. I think it's fun. I think it would be super fun, and it gives leverage where currently there's no leverage. 4, if you throw the rule book out and you have a couple of people appoint special rapporteurs, have a coordinated strategy. You can have Andrew Scheer be the clown rapporteur, right? Appoint Poilievre as the rapporteur. But Poilievre's appointment is real. And Poilievre appoints somebody like Daniel Bulford. And that's the name I blanked on the other day. Daniel Bulford used to be Justin Trudeau's security detail. He was he was very close to the prime minister, and he said, not me, man. I can't put up with this stuff. I'm out. So having somebody like Daniel Bulford, and Daniel Bulford is, like I said, elite special forces protecting the prime minister level of law enforcement, right? But if not Daniel Bulford, if that's a little bit politically hot for you, you could choose somebody else, another high-ranking former CSIS person, an RCMP person, not Brenda Lucki, somebody with a respectable credentials and track record, not Brenda Lucki or Bill Blair. But nobody mired in scandal, but nobody who's got a connection necessarily to Poilievre. But maybe, why not? You can make more fun. If somebody says, you're connected to this guy, say, yeah, so is Justin, connected to his rapporteur. So we'll see, right? I have no idea. But somebody with good security clearance, somebody with good credentials, and not somebody like David Johnston, right? And have them report. Have an entire group of people who are dedicated to making this a show, because it has to be a show. You can't react to this. You have to drive the bus. Okay. You have to fight fire with fire. If you're criticized by Trudeau, have your rapporteur be concerned by that. Imply that it's China pulling the strings of Trudeau. It's so easy. It's so obvious. It's right there. All you have to do is say, over to my special rapporteur, who comes up and says, I hear that, China's been influencing these things that Trudeau's saying. Boom. And Trudeau will be in a tizzy. He will lose his mind. He won't be able to respond. He will just spit feathers. He will be so mad that he wouldn't even be able to respond for a day. He would lose it. He would lose it. It would be a way to spin him up and watch him go. And the Conservatives need to do that. The opposition party needs to do that, because what they're doing is not working. So you have to fight fire with fire, right? If Trudeau is criticizing you, have a third-party independent person criticize him. One that you control, just like he's doing. Come on, it's right there. Okay, number 7. Usually the Liberals make a political move and the CPC demands that they do not do this. And then they run out of runway. Here's an example of that. And it's the same tweet I used before. Trudeau must end his cover-up. Okay, you get 3 tweets like that before somebody says, so what? He must end his cover-up, or you'll do what? Or I'm going to send my special rapporteur to find out what he's covering up. Right? He must end it. And you have to have something tangible, something that means something to threaten with. Otherwise, he has to end it. Or what? Or I'm going to be real mad. I'm going to get Pokeroo, the Andrew Scheer's rapporteur, to land-based you, right? The thing is, when the Liberals make a political move and the CPC demands that they stop, the CPC doesn't have anything to back it up with. So this gives them leverage. The public loses interest because they're just a broken record. The CPC is a broken record saying, you can't do this, stop doing this, it's bad, you can't do this, the Canadians don't want this, stop doing this. If you have somebody who can act independent of parliamentary committees, independent of filibustering, independent of Katie Telford being allowed, independent of the rapporteur, if Justin Trudeau's rapporteur comes back and says XYZ happened, then if you don't have a rapporteur, you're responding to whatever Justin Trudeau's rapporteur says. If you have your own rapporteur, you can say, it's weird that Justin Trudeau's rapporteur says one thing. I've said rapporteurs so many times in this episode, it's ridiculous. Anyway, you can say, it's weird that Justin Trudeau's rapporteur didn't find anything and my rapporteur did. That's weird. We should talk about that as Canadians. It's weird that we have these rapporteurs, these competing rapporteurs. It's weird that our government is split like this. It's weird that we're looking into Chinese interference and nobody can agree on how to do that because of the competing rapporteurs. It illustrates a point in a way that words can't. It's action, and you should do it. Number 8, doing this will give them talking points that don't depend on the Liberals. If they start scheduling pressers, the LPC will have their own pressers to counter. So imagine this. Pierre Poilievre says, Daniel Bulford will be my special rapporteur, and Thursday at noon, we will be having a press conference every week to update on the progress because this is such an important thing. And Thursdays at noon, blah, 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 blah. You watch the Liberals convene their own pressers and try and take that down and stop it. They can't. They wouldn't be able to do anything because what are the rules? The rules don't exist. They don't exist. Number 9, it controls the narrative in a way the CPC has not done since Trudeau took power. Do they want the power or are they just going to respond to everything? They're going to just respond to everything. Number 10, it would be fun as heck to watch. I don't expect them to do this, but I hope they do this. I really want them to do this. I think it'd be fun because it would make Trudeau so angry. It would make him so mad and he would have no idea what to do. And he wouldn't be able to counter it in an effective way. He would have to censor the CPC in order to get what he wanted. And he'd try. I'm sure he'd try. But it would be ineffective and people would see. Fundamentally, I think this works because it lays bare the strategy of control for Trudeau, and it makes him look like a fool because he's not using something that is based in Canadian law. He's just pulled it out of his ass. And if Trudeau's not willing to abide by the rules, if Trudeau's just going to pull something out of his ass, then it's time that our opposition parties started holding him accountable in a way that he's going to feel uncomfortable being held accountable, right? It's useless to send tweets like he has to stop because he doesn't care. Trudeau doesn't care. But he'll care if the public opinion is swayed by a competing rapporteur, right? And that gives the CPC leverage. And I think they should do it. And that's enough out of me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out CanadaPoly.com. Check out CanadaReport.co. If you're interested in checking out a Speaking Moistly live event, we're doing one on April 15th. It's me and Greg and Patrick Phillips and Sarah C. and Scarlett M. And it'll be lots and lots of fun. And you should get the tickets at CanadaPoly.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.